Hello, I'm back. We're back with another love lesson. I am going to wait for Jakeya to join us, but I'm going to go ahead and tell you what the topic is. The topic is, why are you still single? So as you come on, make sure that you say, hey, even if you're listening to the recording, make sure that you say hello, because I love to interact with you. I love to get to know some of my followers, especially if you don't know me. Some people that subscribe to me, I try to reach out and get to know everybody that I can. Hey! So there goes Jakeya. So let me go ahead and see if I can bring her on. I think it's working just fine. There she is. Hello, lovely.
Hey, how are you?
Good. So it worked just fine. This was perfect.
Yes.
Yeah, it was perfect because I'm telling you, sometimes it is actually a journey to
Yeah.
get online. Let me see. I switched it around. I didn't mean to do that. So you're looking at my refrigerator somehow. So let me see if I can get it back. Here we go. I did it again. It's so sensitive. Okay, I'm back. So that was my daughter's lovely artwork on the refrigerator. So not sure how long you got to admire that. But okay, we've got Jakeya on the line, and I need to be very careful of time. So thank you so much for agreeing to come on with me and talk about the topic, why are you still single?
Okay.
So I'm going to introduce you, but before I do that, I just wanted to talk about some of the reasons why I chose this particular topic. And it was just because now I'm in a relationship, a really serious relationship. But prior to that, I've been in situationships. I've been in, I guess you would I call them my fake boyfriends, single for around 7 years, going on 8 years or something like that, since I was divorced. And I used to hate this question, like, why are you single? Because I felt like there was such a stigma to it.
Yeah.
So I have a lot of guys. I talked to a lot of guys on this, in this series, the Love Lesson series. But I thought it would be great to talk to a woman about this, because I think that the guys could also, they also want to know. Like, the reason why they ask is because they want to know, why are you still single? If you are so fine, and you are educated, you are a go-getter, you are all the things, then why are you still single? So that was like what my thought process. But I do want to introduce you. I did get a chance to peek at your website. So I don't think I'm going to give you justice to go through too much of it, but I will say that this is Jakeya Parker, and she is a coach, and she's also a self-worth expert. So I usually like to tell people how old people are that come on the show and what their marital status is. So would you mind sharing that?
Yeah. So, hey, everybody. I see everybody joining in and saying things in the comments. Again, I am Jakeya. I'm actually 26, and I am single.
See, I knew people want to know. So the reason why I think that that's important, because I think there's different mindsets when it comes to relationships. So with especially some of the guys that like to watch, I'm in my 30s, so you're in your 20s. So I think that a lot of guys seem to go for women that are in their 20s and 30s. It seems like to me, because I think sometimes I get hit on by men that are older and way younger, because they can't figure out how old I am. So they just kind of go for it. So the question still is always, why are you still single? if you've been single for longer than it seems like 6 months, then it's just that general question. Have you ever been asked that before?
Yes, I get asked that a lot, actually. They be like, you're so beautiful. Why are you single? And honestly, you being beautiful has nothing to do with why you're single.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we don't want to just hop into relationships that aren't worth our while. And I'm at a point now where I actually want to be married. And so now that me and my child's father isn't together, we pretty much been broken up since about last April. So it's actually going on a year next month. And I've really been taking that time to heal because it was a lot that I went through with him in that relationship. So trying to jump into a new one didn't make sense. Now, was I open to dating? Yes. But even as I began to get in the process of dating, sometimes things would be brought to light that I thought that I was over and I wasn't. So it's not always that you're being single just because you can't find anybody. Sometimes you need to do the work on yourself before you take your brokenness into the next relationship.
Right. So you definitely have to be patient. But did you have any examples of how would you know that you're just not over the ex? Like what kind of things come up to lead you to believe that maybe I'm not over him? Maybe I need to take a step back.
I was still finding myself being upset sometimes that we weren't together. I was finding myself too many times reminiscing, on old things. And then I could see that he could still piss me off.
Okay.
When you're moving on from a relationship, they shouldn't even be pissing you off, in the way that he was. So it's really showing me that I still had some buried things that I really needed to sit down and deal with.
Okay. So that's a key indicator. If you get into it with your ex and you are like really flying off the handle, or maybe I have temper, so that's why I use it. I have a temper that must be managed, and it is managed, but It is still there. So if you fly off the handle, I experienced that too when I was going through the divorce, where I would fly off and it's like, why is it that serious?
Yeah.
But some of that is just because watch your tone, I guess. But then, but if I noticed that the biggest thing with me is that if I still think about it after it's over, how like after you've calmed down and you're still thinking about it, it's like, let it go.
Right.
So if you can't let it go, then that's a problem.
Yeah.
Hey, Mr. Hester. Okay, some people are commenting, and this is what, let's see. It said, God Love says, it's hard to truly forget that person you love so much. And then also that sometimes you feel that you've let go, and sometimes it's like you still want that person. Ooh.
That's true. Absolutely true. I can say that it's not for you to really forget them. Because it's memories. You're never going to really forget the memories. It's really about letting go and moving on. I actually talk a little bit about our relationship in my upcoming book that I have coming out this month, and I pretty much talk about how to get out of a toxic relationship.
Okay.
And so it's not about forgetting them. It's really about letting go so that you can move on, open yourself up to heal, so that you can attract the relationship that you want.
I love that you just said that. What about those that are attracting the wrong person? What about where they feel like, I know I used to get scared when it was like right after my divorce, and somebody, if they were too much like my ex-husband, I would just be like, oh my God, like, no.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, honestly, I feel like when you're not saying that it's always you, but if you're constantly attracting the wrong people, then it's time for you to take a look at yourself. I know a lot of girls that do that. Guys in Atlanta ain't ish type stuff, and it's like when you speak that kind of stuff, you're actually attracting that kind of stuff to you.
Yes.
And if you constantly think that everybody ain't ish, then you need to really do some work on yourself, because obviously it's something about you that's attracting those kind of guys to you.
Yeah, that is so true, because I'm noticing as I've grown and how I feel about myself and my own self-worth, it's like the type of people have changed that pop up in my life. So it's like once you get to a point where you love yourself so much, it's like you don't have the tolerance for anyone that gives you something less than what you deserve. Absolutely. It's like it irritates you so much that you just can't stand it. So like that's a huge sign. If you find yourself being able to tolerate somebody that is less than what you would feel is ideal for you, then you might need to continue to do some work on yourself.
Absolutely. For sure. And the work is ugly. Like it is so ugly.
It is.
I say that in that relationship, there were so many things that were brought to light about myself that I didn't even know existed. You know, so it takes two people to tango. He wasn't only one doing wrong, and I wasn't the only one doing wrong either. And the more that he began to bring those things to light, I began to pray about it and like really talk to God, because I was like, I don't want to be this person. Like this was exactly who I didn't want to be.
Yeah,
I was really becoming that. So you have to be able to take constructive criticism and to know that it's going to help you to be your best self. And that is the biggest way to really attract the right people into your life. Because we don't want to forever.
Right. And I love that you said that, because Charles, he's actually listening now, but that's who I'm in a relationship with now. And he was just shocked at the level of accountability, because if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But this is how I learned it. I learned it by doing the work in my failed marriage. Okay. So I had to be accountable to him and say, you know what, even though you've done things that I consider the greater wrong, I was still wrong. You know, and these are the areas that I was wrong, and I had to be willing to apologize to him and really own my stuff. Because and that actually prepared me for the next thing. So I had no idea how much the right person would appreciate that quality that I was developing, because it was like so hard to do. Like you said, it was so ugly. Yeah. Who wants to do that where somebody has you feel like they have really wronged you? They have done you so wrong in so many ways, but you still have to take responsibility for what you did wrong in that relationship too. Like, whew, who wants to do that?
Yeah. The biggest thing for me was learning how to communicate. I really sucked at that. And I used to think that I was doing a great job. If we were getting into it, I wasn't cussing at him. Yeah. But it was him teaching me that I didn't have to cuss to be disrespectful. Right. And I was like, you know what? Like, that was disrespectful, huh? Like, right. You had to really think about it. But so it's like the little things that you have to truly pay attention to when you're, especially when you want to like be married or have a serious relationship. You have to really take the time to see who are you in your past relationships and who do you want to be and what's stopping you from being that. I love what Miss Leah says too. She says, hold yourself accountable first before holding someone else accountable. So that was the gem right there. That if you don't get anything else, Miss Leah said it. No, just kidding. But you definitely have to hold yourself accountable. Even if he hadn't have said that to you, I think you would have figured it out. Like even if he would have said, I think you knew deep down that you were being disrespectful. Yeah. Because you can tell somebody about themselves and just be colorful with your words. Yeah. And not actually, that's keeping it classy. So yeah, sometimes I didn't. I can actually like really understand it. And it really taught me that I never wanted to be somebody that used my words to hurt someone else. Because I grew up in a household like that where, you know, we were called names and stuff like that. And it really hurts. So it's like, I don't ever want to be responsible for making somebody's spirit like feel crushed due to my words. So it really made me to be mindful of that. So question, what you're saying that you really need to take some time to do some work on yourself
And I get that. But
Mm-hmm.
what about when you're really hurt and you just want somebody to listen? You want some comfort because you've been through so much. Like, how do you resist not moving on into a relationship when you're wanting that comfort?
You know what? That's a really great question, because a lot of women and men jump into the
Mm-hmm.
next relationship looking for that person to, I guess, make up for what they're missing, and that is the worst thing that you can do. I
Mm-hmm.
personally spend a lot of time in prayer and reading my Bible, just seeking God to honestly, I pray about my husband. I've actually even wrote down everything that I would want in a husband. Not saying that he's going to be exactly that, but I
Yeah.
have been taking the time of gaining self-control over my being,
Mm-hmm.
because I don't want to just jump into anything. So I would suggest that people really build up a community to where you have people to talk to, especially when you're vulnerable. Because a lot of people don't want to be single because they feel lonely. And I get it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm in the stage, honestly, now where I deal with loneliness sometimes myself, but I respect myself in a different way than when I did when I was with him. So I'm willing to wait while I find
Mm-hmm.
it. Will I date around? Will I still have friends? Absolutely. But you're worth it. Like, raise
Mm-hmm.
your standards and just wait for it to come. But get out there. Don't just sit in the house and just think it's just going to show up. Get out there, meet new
Mm-hmm.
people. But don't just get in a relationship with somebody to try to hide from the stuff that you need to heal. Like, really heal your wounds so that you can really attract what you want.
Mm-hmm. So that was like super encouraging as far as waiting for the right person. That was one of the things I had posted something on Facebook about all these different reasons of why people could be single, and one of them was just waiting for the right person.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think I had got to the point to where it was by choice at certain times, because yeah, I could link up with somebody, but it's like, why would you want to do that? And then you have to break up anyway, because you knew that that wasn't the right person for you anyway. And
Right.
then
That.
and then sometimes you go through this phase where you just don't think, you just feel like nobody's checking for you. And I
Yeah.
just could not understand it. I was like, well, I think I'm cute, so what's the problem? And I remember going through this, and I told one of my best friends, like the bestie of all besties, and she
Mm-hmm.
said, girl, I don't know, maybe God is protecting you or something, because I was like, nobody was checking for me at
Yeah.
all. So it's kind of like you go through seasons where you feel like nobody wants you. But
Mm-hmm.
this is another thing that I've noticed about myself. That's why self-awareness is so important.
Yes.
That people were checking for me, but I didn't know. You know what I
Okay.
mean? Like, because I'll just, like, say if you're out and about, say if you're single, so single ladies, this might help you. If you are out and about, you are always on your phone, which I am. You're always like in your own world. Like, you don't make eye contact with anybody. You look mad at the world. Like, if you're one of those things,
Yeah.
then you will not, if somebody's checking for you, you will never know. So
Yeah.
when you are out and about, you do need to, like, so guys, I would hate when they would try to come up and interrupt what I was doing. So that wasn't good. So I was just like completely unapproachable, just completely. It was just ridiculous.
Yeah, that can definitely be a factor too.
Yeah, and I think I was never one of those people that let myself go. But I think that is so important to continue to, level up while you're still single and doing all the things that you can
Mhm.
to take care of yourself. I think that is a part of the process of
Yeah,
leveling up.
yeah, you definitely should be taking the time to become a better person. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
like, what are you doing in your singleness if you're not becoming better? Like, it only makes sense to do so.
Yeah, it does. But I think sometimes you just get stuck on like where you used to be in your old life, you
That
know?
is so true. Oh my God.
So it's kind of like, I don't know. I think the biggest thing is realizing if you are single, that it's a new beginning. So it's not like, oh my gosh, things used to be like this and that. Like, you have to recreate a life for yourself.
You do, you do, and it takes time. Once me and my child's father separated, when I say that I was already dealing with depression and grief in the whole process, but it was getting a little bit worse after it was really over because I was just upset. I'm like, God, like, why couldn't this work out? But
Yeah.
I knew that it wasn't supposed to work out, so I had to really flow into just really accepting that and to know that we have a daughter together and she needed me. So I couldn't just stay depressed. I couldn't just, be like filled with grief because I still had responsibilities, and sometimes when you're going through a bad breakup, it really takes a toll on your entire being. So it's so important that you, like I said, have a community, because if not, you will fall into a slump and be isolated and be in your house by yourself every day crying yourself to sleep.
I know. Yeah. So that's what I was going to ask you. Like, when you are trying to let go of that person that wasn't for you, like, what kind of things do you do? Because in my case, most of my friends were married. So it was like they couldn't really support me in the way I really needed support because they had to attend to their families. So it was kind of like I felt like I was really like just alone. And I had to come up with strategies. I'm a coach too. So this is what I do. So I came up with strategies to help myself. But what are some of the things that people could do if they're trying to let go of the wrong person and not fall back into the trap of wanting to be back with them?
The first thing that you really need to do is just give yourself time to process how you feel. It's not about rushing to be healed, because healing takes time. I don't believe in the myth that time heals all wounds. I believe if you do the work, then time will heal your wounds. So give yourself time to really process how you feel. If you're feeling sad, if you're feeling depressed, angry, go through that process. Because I learned once I had to go take a parenting class, I learned that it was 5 different stages to grief.
Yes.
And I didn't even understand that part. So you have to really give yourself time to even just go through the process. And as you do that, then I would suggest you start, finding different things to do. Like, once you get out of a relationship, sometimes you get to the point where you don't even know who you are anymore. It got to the point where once I wasn't with my daughter and her dad, I didn't know what to do. And so I had to really begin to find myself, find out what I liked again, or find out what I wanted to do now, or call my friends and just cry my eyes out and let them just listen to me, because I need to really get this out, But like I said, pray and read my Bible, or go find something that I really wanted to do. And so I would just really say just to give yourself time, find you new things to do, and really fill your idle time, because if you don't, you're going to fall into a slump that you do not want to be in.
That was so good. And there were so many people chiming in with the comments, but we did get a question before we end this live. And it says, God Love says, how do you deal with someone who broke up with you because of what they heard about you, but that person never wanted to have a conversation with you?
Okay. She said, or he or she said, how do
you deal with someone who broke up with you because of what they heard about you, but that person never wanted to have a conversation with you?
Well, if they don't want to have a conversation with you, I would say you could try again to have the conversation. But if they don't want to talk, it's important for you to move on. Sometimes we hold on too long to things that are not serving us. If that person does not want to give you the time of day, especially if you didn't do something wrong, then that person does not deserve you anyway.
Yes,
and
exactly.
It gets no more simple than that. Just let it go. And letting it go takes time, but you have to start filling your time with different things so that you can stop sitting so much thinking about the past. Too many of us spend too much time thinking about stuff that no longer has anything to do where we're headed.
Right. Right. And I think Miss Leah I wish I could read all of them, but I definitely got to watch the time. So Miss Leah saying, and a lot of women seek closure before letting go. And Darren says, I attract who I am. So both of those are like loaded comments to where we could say so much about Darren saying getting to the root causes. Like there's so many there. I mean, these comments are showing that if you are still single, there's so much work to do. And when I look at what actually happened with my marriage, no wonder it took that long. That was a hot mess. It was a dumpster fire. That's what somebody at my job said. It was a dumpster fire. So for me to expect to get over, I mean, I was with him for half of my life, literally. So for me to expect to just be over that within a year or two is just completely unrealistic. You know?
Oh my God, yes. You want it to be realistic.
You do, but it's not. It is not.
It's not. Nope.
It's not. And when people say, why are you still single? They don't have no idea what you've been through. So they don't know how much it's going to take for you to heal through what you've been through and for you to sort out and put your life back together. So there's so many comments that we might not get to read because I do want to, I like to end with the love lesson. I'm going to save your love lesson for the second recording that we're going to do off of offline.
Okay.
So for those of you that don't know, I do have a YouTube channel, so this will be uploaded to the YouTube channel. You'll be able to find Jakeya's information as far as her website is concerned and her social media if you're not following her. And then also, if you listen to the full podcast, then you also will get to hear Jakeya's love lesson. So I'll share what my love lesson is, and if we have time, then if you have a question or something like that, then we'll take like one more question or read another comment or so, and then we're going to go ahead and record your love lesson. So what my love lesson with this topic is that you've got to be willing to let go and go with the flow of the process. Because that's basically been the theme. So even though I wrote this out before we started talking, that's been the theme of what we were saying. Like, it really is going to take some time for you to actually go through this process. And don't be mad, because I used to be mad, to be honest, because I would see everybody get married. I'm like, okay, I was divorced. And a lot of people was going through a divorce at the same time, right? It was like an epidemic of divorce. And then all of a sudden, everybody started getting married again, and I was still single. I'm like, this is unbelievable. Like, unbelievable. Like, I'm in the bestie's second wedding. You know what I mean? I'm like, how's this happening? Like, I have not found the right one. So, what is this one? You should leave the relationship with the same grace you enter. Wow. Well, okay. Mic drop on that one. Mic drop on that one. But I think if you are not following Jakeya, where can they follow you?
Oh, yeah. Well, they can join me on Instagram and Facebook. It's Jakeya J. Parker. And that's it. You can follow me on there, and I would love to talk to y'all more about relationships if you want to talk to me. So you can always message me or DM me, and we can definitely have a conversation.
Okay, so that sounds great. Again, we will, you can find my YouTube link in my profile, and